Welcome to the video. Today I want to share with you 4 strategies that I use to hit my macros most days without tons of meal prep or cooking. I'm someone who doesn't want to be spending hours and hours cooking my meals, multiple meals a day, making immaculate 30, 40, 50-minute meals. I value time and efficiency, and that's how I approach my nutrition as well. So I'm going to share with you 4 things that I do to save myself time, make my nutrition more efficient, but also to very consistently and predictably hit my macros. I would say 90% of days, or maybe up to 95% of days, I hit my macros within 10 grams of what my target is. So if I'm aiming for 200 grams of protein, I'm between 190 and 210, right? I'm within 10 grams up or down. And just imagine, like, if you could be that consistent with hitting your macros, come that close to your targets, just imagine the results you would see and the amount of change you'll be able to see in your body and in your body composition. It would make a massive difference for you. So I'm going to share some of these ideas with you, and you can start to implement them yourself if you want to, or you can just see if these are things that you're doing already, or maybe you can take something from it to be more consistent with your nutrition as well. All right. So the first thing that I do to make sure that I'm hitting my macros most days is practicing nutrition automation. You may have heard me talk about this before, especially if you're a client of mine. I was actually on the phone with a client of mine this morning, and we were talking about how he prefers not to do nutrition automation, and that's fine too. But basically, the idea of this strategy is to pick one meal in the day that's the same every single day. So for me, I don't mind doing that. I don't mind picking one meal that's the same every single day, and that creates routine. That creates a habit. That creates automation, right, in your nutrition. You don't have to think about what to eat for lunch, or, you know, maybe it's breakfast for you, but for that one automated meal, you don't have to think about what to eat. And that saves you time. That saves you energy. That eliminates guesswork, and it makes tracking your macros way easier, because if you're having 3 meals in the day and one of them is always the same, you know what the macros are, right? Once you track that in MyFitnessPal or whatever app you're using, you track it one time and you never have to figure out how to track it again, because the app saves the foods that you're tracking in the app. So you can just copy it over from yesterday to today. It makes tracking your food incredibly easy, incredibly time friendly. And one thing that I want to clarify, because this is what I was talking to my client about this morning, is that your automated meal shouldn't be something that you're like dreading eating, right? It should be something that you're excited to eat. It should be a meal that you're excited to go eat, that really tastes good to you, that you enjoy, that obviously is beneficial to your goals and is macro friendly as well. But if you're trying to make your automated meal something that you're not excited to eat, that's not a good automated meal. And once you get tired of it, then switch it to something else. But the idea is that you're having one meal a day that is the same every day, that you're really looking forward to eating, that tastes good, that also, you know, helps you hit your macros. All right. So that's strategy number 1. Strategy number 2 is to use a meal prep service. All right. I've used many meal prep services over the years. I've been using one for the last year or so, and it makes things easier, right? If you don't mind spending between $8 and $12 per meal, that seems like most meal prep services are charging about between $8 and $12 per meal. That's less than going out to eat. That's for sure, right? Maybe it's more than groceries, but that's not a fair comparison with groceries, because you have to go to the grocery store, go through the store. It takes an hour or whatever. Like, you then have to cook the meals, right? This is a service. They're cooking the meals for you. They're telling you exactly what the macros are, and all you have to do is heat up the meal in the microwave. So what I've been doing recently, I've practiced nutrition automation for the last 5 years or so, but I've switched from that to just using a meal prep service for my lunches. So I get 5 meals a week, which is not much, right? And I use them as my automated lunch each day. So it's not necessarily the same meal I'm eating each day, but the meal is automated and it's taken care of, right? I know exactly what it is. It only takes 2 minutes in the microwave. But also, because the meal prep services tell you exactly what the macros are, you don't have to guess, you don't have to estimate, and you don't have to figure it out. What I do is in MyFitnessPal, I just do a quick add, and I add in the exact proteins, carbs, and fats for that meal. Like this morning, I had protein pancakes from my meal prep service, and I just entered in exactly what the label said: 15 grams of fat, 70 grams of carbs, 41 grams of protein. It literally took 11 seconds and I tracked that meal. So that's a really good option if you are open to using a meal prep service and you want to streamline your nutrition and you want to be able to hit your macros very easily, very consistently. Consider a meal prep service. All right. Tip number 3, or strategy number 3 that I use, is only going out to eat once or twice per week. I try to stick to once per week, but sometimes I go out to eat twice. The reason why this is a game changer for being consistent hitting your macros is because when you go out to eat, almost always you're gonna have to estimate what the macros are for that meal. And I'm sorry to tell you, but we're probably not estimating accurately, right? We don't know how the meal is prepared. We don't know how much oil they used to cook that meal. We don't know how much butter they put into that rice or onto that bread or onto those vegetables. We just don't know. And what I found is that more often than not, we are drastically underestimating the macros of a meal that we eat out, which if you want to lose body fat, if you want to lose weight, is going to hurt your results, right? If you're really underestimating the amount of fats or carbs in a meal when you go out to eat, that's going to hurt your results, because there may be several hundred or even several thousand calories if you're getting an appetizer, if you're getting drinks, if you're getting dessert that are unaccounted for. All right. So going out to eat, again, this is just what I do, right? In a phase where I'm trying to see the best possible results, I limit meals out to like 1 per week. But when I'm in a phase where I'm not trying to get as lean as possible, like for example, right now I'm in a lean bulking phase. My main goals are to build muscle, not to get as lean as possible. I have more flexibility. I have more balance, right? You've got to have that balance throughout different phases of your fitness journey. So right now, I'm allowing myself to go out to eat twice a week, maybe 3 times a week if needed, because I'm eating more food. My macros are higher. And if you're always trying to be restrictive, you're not going to succeed long term. So there's got to be these different phases, these different flows to your journey and the calendar year as well. Now, it's a different story if you're going out to eat at a place that tells you what the exact macros are, like Chipotle or some other, corporation or restaurant that tells you what the macros are. That's a totally different story. You can go out to eat more if that's the case. But what I'm finding is most people, when they go out to eat, they're not going out to eat to places that tell you what the macros are on their website or whatever the case is, right? So strategy number 4, very simply, if you want to hit your macros more consistently, you've got to plan ahead, all right? And this is how I recommend planning ahead with your macros. Before you go to bed, take 5 minutes, open up MyFitnessPal or whatever app you use, and plug in exactly what you're going to eat for breakfast, lunch, dinner, and your snacks. Plug in everything you're going to eat. And that way you can see, where do my macros come out to? Where do they end up for tomorrow if I eat all these things I've just planned? And if you come close to your macros, then great. The deed is done. You've planned ahead. You know you're going to hit your macros tomorrow already. You just have to go eat those foods that you plan to eat. But if you plan your meals and your snacks for tomorrow and it doesn't come close to your macros, maybe you're really short on protein, or you're really short on calories in general, or maybe you're very much overshooting your macros, then you've got to adjust it. Take 2 minutes and adjust the meals or adjust the snacks you're eating so that they are going to help you come close to the numbers you're aiming for. And it's as simple as that. Yes, it takes 5 minutes of planning ahead and mapping out what you're going to eat tomorrow, but I'm telling you, this is going to lead to results you've never seen before. If you can hit your macros consistently, if you can hit your macros 90% of days, that's where you get the opportunity and the capability to build a physique and body composition that you've probably never seen yourself in before. Nothing's going to change your body more noticeably than being really strategic with how many proteins, carbs, and fats you eat in a day. Of course, assuming that you're working out as well. All right. So to me, taking 5 minutes each night and planning ahead what you're going to eat tomorrow so you don't have to wing it, that's a pretty good damn deal, right? There's people out there doing an hour of cardio every day, literally not losing 1 pound, literally not seeing any results at all. Imagine if you just didn't do an hour of cardio every day and you did 55 minutes of cardio and instead use that extra 5 minutes to plan out what you're going to eat tomorrow. boom, you're gonna see way better results. And it's way more important to do that than to do a full hour of cardio or a full hour of any workout if you don't have your nutrition handled, right? I always, I think that's funny in my head, like, man, there's people out there working out for an hour, 2 hours a day even, but yet they don't want to take 5 minutes from that workout or 10 minutes, make it shorter by 10 minutes and just plan out what you're going to eat so you don't end up winging it and you don't end up, trying to figure out what to eat. So again, I hope this helps. Just to recap, 4 strategies that will help you hit your macros more consistently that I use, right? Really strategies that I've been practicing over the last decade to hit my macros 90% of days without cooking a ton of food, without cooking a bunch of meal prep. Number 1 is practice nutrition automation. It'll make tracking your food incredibly easy. Number 2 is use a meal prep service. It will make tracking your food incredibly easy because they tell you exactly what the macros are of that meal. Tip number 3, only go out to eat once or twice a week, right? If you're going out to eat way more than that, of course, it's gonna be hard to be consistent with hitting your macros. Final tip, plan ahead. Take 5 minutes each night and map out what you're going to eat tomorrow. Have a look in your fridge. What foods do you have? Oh, you have ground turkey? Okay, you're gonna eat that for lunch, or you're gonna eat X, Y, and Z for dinner, right? So plan ahead, because if you're not planning ahead, you're probably not gonna be successful with that, right? Just like anything else in your career, if you weren't planning ahead for a big presentation, if you weren't planning ahead for a meeting with a really important client or a really important sales meeting or something, it's probably not going to go so well. I hope this was helpful. If you'd like me to coach you through tracking your food to make sure that this is a lifestyle for you and it's not a short-term solution like many things you may have tried in the past, shoot me a message and let me know. I'm looking for probably 2 or 3 new men who want to come on board and be coached by me, basically have me be the CEO of your fitness and your health for the remainder of 2023. We've got, 6 weeks left. If you want to get in great shape throughout the holiday season and you want to start the new year off in better shape than you're in right now today, let me know. Shoot me a message. I'll see if I can potentially help out with you in your situation and your goals. Then we can crush it in 2024. All right, have a great rest of your day. Talk to you next time.